may know Steve Engel because Steve is part and parcel with the Sun Sentinel and the Jewish Journal, but what Steve doesn't want to say, and he's shy about this, which is funny for a comedian to be shy, but Steve does something else on the side, and Steve is a world-renowned comedian. And Steve has been all over the place, all over the world, and he's just back now because Steve won one of the most grueling events ever. Steve has won, and I told you guys this before, the Lake Worth's Got Talent. And Steve has won the Lake Worth's Got Talent. So Steve is now going to perform for us. So we're gonna, within a few moments, we're just going to give Steve the mic, and we just want to say thank you all for coming. And Steve is going to go on, and please, let's all show a nice round of applause for our friend Steve Engel, everybody.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a hand to our host, Bobby, who throws the best party in Boynton Beach.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a new dad. My wife gave birth to a bouncing baby boy 42 years ago this past October. We're just a little bit late on telling everybody, but we're better than we were on our wedding thank yous. We're still getting those back, and they're marked return to sender, occupant died 20 years ago. But you know, I like talking about weddings and engagements and happy occasions. A young lady friend of mine recently got engaged, and it was quite a sight. She got women coming around from literally miles. She had friends and relatives, and they were jumping up and down and screaming hysterically. I couldn't tell whether it was an engagement or a shoe sale. And you know, guys do engagements and things like that a little differently. When my friends got engaged, I would give them a little chuck on the shoulder, I'd shake their hand, I wish them well. It was kind of like I was sending them off on a suicide mission. But when my son got engaged, I gave him a fatherly hug, and I shook his hand, and I gave him this advice. I said, son, remember this day forever, because you'll never be right again. And you know, it's interesting with women, as women mature, their priorities in men change. So for example, a young woman might go out with a guy because he drives a nice car. A woman of a certain age might go out with a guy because he drives at night. A young woman might go out with a guy because he knows where all the good restaurants are. A woman of a certain age might go out with a guy because he knows where all the good early bird specials are. A woman of a certain age might go out with a guy because he remembers all their special occasions. A young woman might go out with a guy because he remembers all their special occasions. A woman of a certain age might go out with a guy because he remembers her name. And then there's the woman the young woman who will go out with a guy because he dresses well, and a woman of a certain age who will go out with a guy because he can dress himself. You know, men unfortunately don't have the same sense of priority as they mature. Men, no matter how old they are, they see a beautiful 25-year-old lady and they think, well, yeah, I can make time with her. And my advice to those mature men who feel like that, unless you have a lot of money, you have about as much chance of hitting it with a 25-year-old woman as you do of winning the lottery without buying a ticket. And what I will add is if you look around you to the women in your age bracket, you'll find some very attractive women who've got a real lot on the ball and are very well worthwhile in meeting and talking to. So I just thought I'd add that. One of the things I found as I've gotten older is that when it comes to eating, I used to love to eat everything. and now not so much. There are things that I used to eat without a problem, and now I gotta watch myself. And it's really troubling me. But just to give you an idea, here's what a traffic report would sound like coming from my digestive tract. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the latest traffic bulletin. We have a disabled banana in the lower intestine. It's blocking traffic for miles. And as a caution, avoid this area tomorrow. This lactose intolerant fool's going to a wine and cheese party tonight. So beware of high winds and very quickly moving traffic. And you know, when things like that happen, you get a little worried. So I went and I had a colonoscopy, and I'm sure there are a few of you here that have had at least one of those. And you know, it's not the procedure, it's the prep for the procedure. And I have to tell you, stuff came out of me I didn't even know was in there. It was the cat's eye marble that I swallowed when I was 6. There it was staring up at me. And a big, huge wad of Topps baseball bubble gum that I must have swallowed when Bernie Goldsmith punched me in the stomach in the 6th grade. But it was amazing. It was an archaeologist could have had a ball with all that junk. But anyway, I just want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me this opportunity. I hope you were entertained. I thoroughly enjoyed entertaining you, and I look forward to us meeting again. So, without further ado, the best voice in South Florida is about to sing for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Eddie Michael.